It is Friday, September 28th, 2018 at 12:20 p.m. We currently do not have a chair present. Is there a motion to appoint a temporary chair?
I move we appoint you temporary chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All approving?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. In that case, the meeting is called to order. Would you clerk call the roll, please?
Yes, Commissioner Cinder,
Present?
Commissioner Schultz,
Here.
Commissioner Inskeep,
Present?
Commissioner Polk.
Here.
Andrew Wadsworth said he would not be able to make it. Chris Fuller is absent, and Peter Folk is absent, but we do have a quorum.
Thank you.
And coincidentally, let me introduce Mark Schultz, our new commissioner from the Urbana Park District.
Thank you. Look forward to working with you.
Welcome, Mark. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from June 8th. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the meetings of the June 8th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Correspondence. Jake?
There was no correspondence to the commission in the past quarter. However, I had some correspondence to the station, which I will deal with in the staff report.
Let's move on to that staff report then.
Okay. Given the statement about correspondence, I will note to begin with that we did receive a letter from Carol McCusick, who is a regular viewer of Urbana Public Television, and among the many questions she had, the most significant was a request to air the Radio France World News Live 5 nights a week instead of the 3. So I have finally been able to figure out a way to alter the schedule to do that. So beginning next week, we'll have live news from Europe at 1 a.m. Monday through Friday. And I want to thank Carol for persisting in that request. We also had a complaint about the unreliability of the online program schedule. It came in through the city's website, and it was from a Mr. Julin, and I responded to him, and that's included in your packet. I have not heard back from him since. There are lots of technical problems with that. The thing that I didn't mention as well is that occasionally our automation system basically stops and we have to reset it, and when that happens, what we then have on the screen is the bulletin board and not what is on the program schedule. So that's another issue. So we do our best to keep it up to date, and we have continued to try to pursue whatever issues we had with the online program guide with CGTV and with the providers. We have had sports over the summer in the Urbana Girls Softball League games, and that was the last communication that I wanted to mention. It was an email from, what's his name? Mike Phillips. And he sent us an email the following day after our broadcast and said, "Hi, Jason. Thank you for last night's coverage of the games. It was especially cool for me because I was on an Amtrak from Chicago and got to watch the game. My youngest girl hit the 3 RBI triple into the outfield during the game, so thank you." Said, are the games going to be rebroadcast on UPTV? We've had a couple parents send messages this morning asking, so we shared those dates and times with Mr. Phillips, but we were really happy about that. This fall, we're continuing with Urbana High School sports. We've had football and volleyball and soccer. We've Facebook lived the football and soccer games, as well as made them available on demand and broadcast and rebroadcast them. We also have our two sports shows from University of Illinois students return, the Illini Drive, which is now two separate programs weekly on Friday nights at 11, and Rollin' Illini, which is a program about the wheelchair athletes at the university, and that's on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock. We have been live streaming on Facebook other things as well, especially parades. We live streamed the 4th of July parade, which Marie so capably has been organizing. We live streamed the Pride Parade, and this very afternoon, beginning at about 3 p.m., we will be live streaming the Urbana High School Homecoming Parade, which will come right by the city building, and we'll also be rebroadcasting that as well. We covered the Urbana Sweet Corn Festival this year. We have 3 or 4 of the musical performances on the air already, generally between 25 and 40 minutes, and they're fun to watch. Mark Schultz, our new member, is been doing a new show called Mark in the Park, and he's done a number of episodes of that, and it's seen regularly on Saturday morning, but also because it's so handy and modular and informational, we're dropping it in at other times throughout the week. So we want to thank Mark for that. We're also continuing Art Now, and It's All About You, and not only we are producing those programs once a month, but Jason is again taking segments of those shows that we can use as fill-in and drop-ins between other programs, so we get multiple use out of that. We did promos for the June and August Realtor tours by the city, the KRT grant announcement, the Camp Invention, which Chris Fuller mentioned the last meeting, programs on the Urbana Free Library anniversary, the mobile meter, and a blooper reels from the motor meter, which is very funny. The school supplies collection, feature on the renovated mini park on the corner of Broadway and Water, feature on the bicycle light giveaway, and we're actually doing a whole new PSA series about bike riding in Urbana-Champaign with some informational stuff. We're looking to run some spots from CUMTD, and just since in the last 2 weeks, we partnered with the City of Champaign to record the Immigrant Welcome Awards for this year. Andrew Scolari recorded that, and we'll be City of Champaign is editing that, and we'll both be broadcasting it. Local producer Karen Aram produced footage of several local protest gatherings, and Carletta Donaldson is once again recording the weekly city forum, or the Friday forum from the University of YMCA, which has been a great addition. And we have a new show that I'm very happy about. It's Art Urban, who is a lieutenant colonel in the local Civil Air Patrol. And Art's been active in Civil Air Patrol outreach and communications for many years. So he's doing a new show called Colonel Grumpy's STEM Club, which will air 6 p.m. Monday and 8:30 a.m. on Saturday. And it's a program about science and about aeronautics, and a way to get kids interested in and learning more about those areas. We're really happy to have Art doing that. He's done access television shows before on this topic, so has some experience. We're working with Sanford and Jason on doing intergovernmental agreements for outside recordings that we perform and broadcast. The sanitary district is kind of the first one that spurred this, but with the new city administrator, Carol's been working with us on this as well. In addition, Jason and Sanford and Jim Simon from our legal division have been working with the City of Champaign to start pursuing the new cable franchise agreement with Comcast. The current one expires in early January of 2021. We've been participating in team building exercises on the 3 teams that we are on, communications and outreach, IT, and the executive branch. We have had some interesting developments with some of our, I guess, alumni, you would say. Both Jacob Bernard and Ethan Young, who have been production assistants and camera operators here, are now working part-time at WCIA 3, thanks to their experience here. Unfortunately, as a result, they're less available to us. So the job of camera operator has been posted, and Jason and I will be doing interviews for that in the coming weeks. It's always a nice chance to get some new blood and some more diversity into our staff, so we look forward to that. I also included in the packet a photocopy that Jason sent me. I had predicted that Joey Wright would be on ESPN within 5 years, and I was off by 4 years because he's already started to do ESPN over in Peoria, where he's going to school. So we want to wish Joey all the best. And we can say we knew him when. And speaking of knowing him when, I'd also like to let you know that Jason Liggett has been chosen as a recipient of Central Illinois Business Magazine's 11th Annual 40 Under 40 Awards, chosen based on his achievements, innovation, leadership ability, expertise in his field, and community involvement. They'll be publishing a mini profile of Jason in the October-November issue, along with a photo, and there will be a luncheon to honor all the winners, including Jason, on Thursday, October 11th, beginning at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn, Champaign. And I know Sanford and I and Mayor Marlin and some other people, including members of Jason's family, will be present. So if you're free and you want to honor Jason, come on by there. It's just richly deserved. That's all I can say. I printed out the social media report because Jason was originally not going to be here for the regularly scheduled meeting, but he is here, so I'll let him do that now, or perhaps we want to just skip it until later since we're running late. Jason?
I'm fine with whatever you prefer.
Okay. Well, you've all read the report he included, so let's move on to the clips reel, and that way we can facilitate getting through the rest of the agenda as best we can.
That's right.
We took fear away
That's right.
and put ourselves out here
Yeah.
to try to sit up and say what we can do to make things better.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
so
sir.
a lot of people, you know, I know some guys in the hood that's great. I mean, got great messages, but they behind the scenes because they fearful.
Right.
They don't want to jump out there
Right.
because when you jump out there,
Right.
people like to take pop shots
That's
at you,
right. That's
and
right.
they like to dissect you, and
That's
they like
right.
to say, who do you think you are?
That's right.
Two-stage left turn boxes provide an easy, safe way for people on bikes to make left turns on busier streets. They are painted green boxes on the pavement where you can wait out of the path of traffic to complete your left turn. To use the box, if you're riding a bike and want to make a left turn, on a green light you should go straight through the intersection and into the box. Turn your bike to the left, then wait for the light to turn green, or wait for the all-walk signal and ride through the intersection.
Sun beginning to show through here in Urbana. Warming up just a little bit. This is ripped high, and this is going to get gone too. Home run, Aaron Wright. And that was a no-doubter. And that got out of here in a hurry. Aaron Wright comes home to score. A home run for her. 5-0 Urbana.
Okay, the history of this plane, at one time it was covered with just plain sheet metal.
It was spent part of its life in Mexico. Two different brothers owned the airplane. It was damaged at one point to the point where they had to reskin the airplane, and they reskinned it with smooth skin, and it was nicknamed the Smooth Skin Ford. It then sat derelict for a number of years, and a collector bought it and brought it back to the United States and had somebody fabricate the original specification.
Several years ago, the world awakened to the shocking situation of the thousands of refugees fleeing the violence in Syria by a photo of a little boy's body that washed ashore after a boat sank. Today, the world is awakening to the reality of Trump's zero-tolerance policy by photos of small children being torn away from their parents' arms at the border with Mexico.
Hello, Diane. You look wonderful. What a great cameraman you have here.
Jason Liggett.
Oh, is that right? Oh, nice camera guy. Hey, happy 4th. Happy birthday, America.
That's right. Thank you, Brian.
Happy 4th of July. Jason doing a great job.
Yep, that's right. Okay, go ahead.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. This is my second 4th of July as a U.S. citizen.
Yes, I love it.
I'm joined today with Mindy and Jen from ASPCA out on Philo Road in the Sunnycrest Center. We have a couple of special guests with us today as well. This is Honey Bear and Emma. ASPCA has a significant presence here on Philo Road, and Mindy, maybe you could tell us a little about all the things in the property right now.
Cool, sure. So we actually started with the Poison Control Center at the University of Illinois, and that was in 1978. Wow. So the Poison Control Center has been in existence for 40 years.
On Saturday, July 7th, the library celebrated its 100th anniversary. The executive director of the library, Celeste Choate, explains more.
100 years ago tomorrow, the library opened in this facility, and we are so pleased to be here. Today we'll be celebrating in a number of ways. We have activities with the Museum of the Grand Prairie that will be old-time games for children.
Hey, Mayor, have you seen Kate and Natika? They were supposed to come and talk to us about some business idea that they had.
No, I haven't heard a thing from them.
I mean,
Boy, they're really late.
I was checking my calendar, and I think we have the time right, and I think we have the day right.
Huh, well, wonder what the problem is.
I am so sorry. I thought you had change already.
I never carry cash. Oh my gosh.
Where did you get
Dad, I mean, she's my idol. I don't have any change.
Hey, you should try mobile meter. Parking in Urbana has never been so easy.
Hello, I'm Miller Calhoun, senior at Urbana High School here, joined by head football coach Ordell Walker here on McKinley Field at Urbana High School. Coach, I guess the first question I have for you is what's the game plan and what's the atmosphere going to look like here Friday night on 7:15 when you guys take the field against Rich East?
I know the band will be there, so beyond that, I'm not sure. I'm hoping since it's the opening weekend of school that we'll have a big crowd out. We definitely can use the support, the energy that comes from the fans. But game plan, we're going to try to mix it up, both offensively and defensively.
What is it like to be a Paralympic sport player who can walk? What is it like to be in both of those worlds at the same time?
You know, it's really interesting that you asked that question because, I mean, we kind of see ourselves as the same, right? To be in the Paralympic world, and in places like Canada, you can be an able-bodied person and play adaptive athletics. But here in the United States, we don't have that system yet. And so, you know, I even though it doesn't appear that I have, I've gone through 18 surgeries in my life and a lot of things related to my disability. And so I see myself as a person with a disability, and, you know, despite the fact that I can walk, I still go through struggles.
We understand that, you know, parents are on limited budgets. You got tuition, you got school supplies, you got clothing. So we wanted to try to assist. We wanted to get the community involved because we are community oriented. So as you can tell from the boxes that I've packed up, my wife and kids have helped me, and I mean, I think it was a success.
The Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 70 and the Urbana Police Department continue to help our community. Their latest effort culminated at Wiley Elementary School. Officers delivered a truckload of backpacks and other school supplies to meet the needs of students.
The Urbana Park District played a major role in promoting the concept and supporting the grant writing effort. Executive Director Tim Bartlett is here, and he'll discuss the impact of the trail. Carl Foundation Hospital, led by President and CEO Dr. Jim Leonard, provided the required 20% local match. So that's a contribution of $25,000 toward the total $125,000 grant. We thank Carl for that.
Hope that they remember some of the things as they learn how to be creative with science, technology, engineering, and math, and remember some of the things that they created and start beginning to think about how, you know, there's more than one way to learn.
Everything's got a story, but some of the stories aren't very interesting. Some of them are. And if you want to find out the story of the thing, you'll have to ask. That's how it's going to go.
So another look at the rich diversity of the Urbana community from Urbana Public Television. And we'll be happy to take any questions you folks have.
No, looks great as always. Every quarter it's better. It's really, really impressive stuff. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and a lot of it is your own production, but a lot of it is also the community, and that's really seeing these new innovative programs. I've watched some of the Colonel Stumpy. That's what it is, right? Colonel Stumpy, yeah. STEM Club. Colonel Grumpy, right? Colonel Grumpy STEM Club. I've watched some of those myself, and they're a lot of fun. All right. Moving on to audience participation. We do not have an audience today in the studio, but you're always welcome to join us in the future at the Urbana City Council chambers. And then on to unfinished business. The first, you want to introduce that?
Yeah, the first item is the proposed new identification slides for programs, and this was originally generated by a viewer complaint about a program, and we have been discussing for several meetings the ways and means of dealing with things like that. So these are the slides that I have included in your packet that I propose. One of them is aimed at a program that's being aired at the request of a UPTV member. One of them is aimed at a program that is produced by a UPTV member. And the third is aimed at a program that we have selected for broadcast from elsewhere, usually from a PEG station. So I just submit those for your consideration.
Any comments from the commission?
Yeah, I looked over these and thought they covered what needed to be covered quite well.
Okay. I was a little concerned about the length of them.
Yeah.
Will these actually fit on a TV
It
frame?
is, well, there's two ways we can do this. We can, they are roughly the same length as the current hate speech disclaimer. And so it's not longer than that one space-wise. We could split this into two slides and show them sequentially, or we can leave it on the screen for a little longer so people have a chance to read through it. I probably would favor the two-screen approach. And I did, by the way, submit these to the human relations officer just because this no longer really contains the hate speech disclaimer. We could certainly add one of those at some point if you want, if you feel it needs to be said. As I put additional second slides there, which might be third slides, either an adult disclaimer or a hate speech disclaimer.
I would suggest maybe moving the subclause, but are presented in the interest of furthering free speech and civil discourse, up to the first sentence. I think it could go, it would be and instead.
I would be happy with that. I think that makes sense.
So what's the third prior to broadcast one? What's that for?
It's for programs that we curate ourselves, programs from other stations that I'm airing in hopes that it will stimulate a local viewer to maybe consider producing something on the same topic.
Okay.
It's the way I can, try to use these slides to garner some more participation, citizen participation.
Would you like a motion to approve these, or do we not need to do that?
I would like a motion to approve them as you amended, if that's fine.
Okay.
And you're saying the hate speech edition, that's something that you're considering. Should we add that or not?
Well, my personal feeling is that that should only be used in the case of programs where they might conceivably generate a complaint about such or contain such. That leaves a bit of subjective judgment to myself as manager as to which programs would have that. We can run it in front of everyone, I suppose, but again, as I pointed out, in front of the fishing show, it doesn't make much sense, or the gardening show.
The only reason I mention it, I agree, it should be at your discretion, but I just remember part of why we developed that was in response to such a community outcry, and I think people did appreciate that has been included as a statement. So I appreciate, but I understand it's definitely not necessary before every program.
The other thing I've considered would be a sort of a general slide that would run maybe twice a day or 3 times a day with that statement about hate speech, not pertaining to any specific program, but pertaining to all the programs that we run, that this is the city's policy. I can be happy to consider that.
That might make it easier on you, rather than having to assess and make the decision about individual
Yeah, I would
programs.
still, if we had a Holocaust denier on, I would still flag it specifically. But
does the city have such a policy, hate has no home type policy?
An anti-hate speech policy? Yes.
Okay. Yes. Well, I mean, I guess, okay, yeah, I guess I assumed that, but I was thinking of something more marketing. Does it have a specific statement that it endorses putting on marketing materials, or does it just have a general anti-hate speech policy?
On marketing material?
I don't know. I think I'll retract the question.
We could discuss that later, but yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if we can get these slides going on the air, and then, I'd be happy to revisit this at any point. Sanford, what do you think?
That's fine. I just want to clarify on the last one. You have a and or sort of 2 versions of the text? Are you seeking guidance from the commission as to one, the other, or both?
You mean the possibly in addition?
Yes, that section.
No, those would be separate slides.
To be used
as needed.
As needed.
As appropriate.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the new ID slides for UPT programs with suggested revisions brought forth into discussion.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, so no opposed. And so that is approved, and we will look forward to seeing them.
We'll be implementing them just as soon as we can. We're down a couple of positions, production positions right now, so we're stretched a little thin, but we'll get them on. Thank you.
Moving on to the next item, the assumption of some Cable Commission duties.
Yes, I have, as requested by the Commission, come up with my own suggested additional duties for the Commission. As opposed to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, I have retained 4. That, to me, is the crucial one that the UPTV Commission would be able to assume. The other ones are either, to me, no longer relevant or involve areas in which our Commission does not necessarily have the background or expertise to take over these duties.
So to clarify, below the line in the packet where it says UPTV station managers proposed additional duties, those are not additional duties proposed for the station manager.
Right, yeah.
This is the station manager's proposal for the Commission.
Yeah, I said that earlier, but everyone may not have been here.
In the top section there, in all caps after some of these items, can you explain the meaning of the UPTV staff, UPTV annual report type of thing?
I don't know. This isn't my document, Sanford. This was done during my absence, so.
I think it indicates that those duties, for example, number 5, to be serve as the forum for resolving complaints and disagreements, that's something that the staff does. In other words, when there are complaints that come through, they come to staff, staff resolves them. So we're not seeking to have the Commission do that. It was sort of denoting that it is already being performed. And the second one was stating that, I guess in the opinion of whoever put this together, that the annual report addresses number 6. In other words, in terms of at least the UPTV annual report addresses the UPTV portion of that. Although it is not the Cable Commission annual report, that was separately something that the Cable Commission itself was charged with doing.
Okay. I don't see any reason to reject the proposed additional duties. I think they're a good addition to our mandate, but I would have a few things that I might propose to amend them with. Specifically, under 4A, a forum for citizen input on cable service issues and for resolving complaints and disagreements between the cable providers franchised by the City of Urbana and their subscribers. I would suggest adding other telecommunications issues. So a forum for citizen input on cable service and other telecommunication related issues. And the reason that this is the appropriate forum for that is that this is the one that deals with at least one of the telecommunication entities. And it's good to have some place to direct people if they want to talk about the issues that they're having with whatever provider they have. I don't, frankly, expect very much. Given the history of the Cable Commission, we didn't get a lot of complaints outside of the cable companies. But I personally would like to see there be a forum for that. And I don't think it's a problem for the Commission to have or not have a specifically a particularly deep telecommunications background to simply hear complaints about these types of issues from the community. I think that's a reasonable use of this committee.
Chairman Folk, could I get you to kind of elaborate on what you would consider to be other telecommunication issues? Are we talking internet service? Are we talking telephones?
Yeah, so your cable provider, Comcast, delivers 3 different services: a video service, an internet service, and a phone service. The video service is a telecommunication service. The internet, I don't know whether it's still a telecommunications service. The FCC has gone back and forth on that issue. And the phone is definitely a telecommunications service. AT&T similarly delivers video, phone, and internet. And ITV3 delivers all 3 of those. And Volo delivers 2 of those, internet and phone. And I think Pavlov delivers all 3, but I'm not sure. So there are providers there are franchisees who are providers that provide a group of services which I would not expect a typical user in the community to separate from their cable franchise related services. So if you have a complaint about Comcast, as I would read this, you are allowed to bring an issue with their TV, but not with their internet or phone service to this commission. So,
it actually, doesn't it just say cable service?
Yeah, the cable service is the video part of that.
Well, it doesn't say video. It just says,
Well,
those 3 things are all delivered by cable, right?
But in the law, the cable service is the video part of that.
Okay.
So,
Point of clarification, are we speaking only for those who have franchises with the city of Urbana or for all telecommunications providers?
I believe it should be, if you have a complaint, you have a place to bring it. We're serving the community, not specifically the providers.
It does specify the cable providers franchised by the city of Urbana.
Well, it depends on how you read that. Is the resolving complaints and disagreements between them separate from the forum? Or is the forum only for issues pertaining?
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
The way I read it, the forum was independent of the providers.
It should almost actually be a separate sub-heading.
For clarity, that would probably help. So that's really the only change that I think makes sense given the resources and what is available here and what I can see is needed from time to time in the community. And I guess to put a fine point on it, my suggestion would be separating unit bullet or item A at the comma into 2 items, and in the first item there, making that be a forum for citizen input on cable service and other telecommunication-related issues.
And then separately a forum for resolving complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my proposal. As the chair, I don't normally put forward motions, but I don't think I'm forbidden from it.
Yeah, I would move we approve that as suggested.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. All right, so good. We're getting through a lot of unfinished business.
Yes, thank you.
And on to the new business, equipment purchases.
I did include Jason's report there since we're running a little late. Perhaps you can just ask Jason if you have any questions about them, or Jason, if you want to explain them.
Just if you have any questions, we bought a $750 transmitter and receiver package, which allows us to broadcast the Urbana School Board live.
Moving on to the annual meeting and open house.
We have, since I've been here, I've scheduled that on a Saturday in December at noon, and we've had okay turnout, but it could always be more. And I was kicking around with Jason my idea of perhaps having it on a Friday evening this time, shortly after work, say get together around 5:30 for chat and snacks, and conduct any business meeting type stuff at 6 o'clock. We thought give other people a chance to attend. Probably be a little easier on staff time for us, but I'm open to talking about
it. I like that time better than the Saturday time, so I'm happy with it.
Agreed.
Okay. I'm looking at December 7th because I would like to report on it at the meeting the following Friday. But if it's more convenient for you guys to only devote one of those Fridays, we could do the whole thing on the 14th. But as closer you get to Christmas, the more things get jammed up with people. So I kind of like the first weekend there.
I'll mention that is a first Friday, so there will be other events going on.
Ah, good point.
Which I think if we had something that drew people here, people might stop in.
Yeah.
But if we don't have something that would draw people, I don't think we'll necessarily get any extra.
So we could actually include ourselves as a first Friday event.
Like a little live, a little live music and snacks. That would be cool.
Film some IDs, citizen IDs. I like that. Is that all right?
Sounds great.
Excellent. We'll make it December 7th. And considering that's going to be more than our usual past efforts, I'll probably sit down with Jason and brainstorm some things we can do to make it a little more attractive.
Might even want to talk to the co-op and see what they're doing. Sometimes they have something out on their porch there, and we might be able to generate a little traffic from that.
Yeah. At least do some postering there. Excellent. Thank you, Carol. I really appreciate that.
If only we knew someone who could play live music.
I'll look for someone, okay?
All right. That's done? Is that right? Or do we need to vote on
Yes, that's all I need.
Okay. And then moving on to commissioners' comments. We have a new commissioner, so I'll ask if you'd like to say anything first, but nothing required.
Just like to say it's a pleasure to be aboard, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Anyone else have anything to throw into the mix? All right. I'm thrilled to see our new member, and I've enjoyed your content as well.
Thank you.
Our next meeting is scheduled for December 14th at 12 noon in the Urbana City Council chambers. We encourage anybody who has anything to say to show up and say it live. So we will see you then, or perhaps also December 7th in the Urbana City Council chambers at 5:30?
That's what we're thinking.
Roughly 5:30 for the annual meeting. And normally there's cake, so encourage you to come for that. All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Or the agenda being completed, I believe I am now permitted to adjourn without a motion.